It's become increasingly clear that I've done things all wrong. Let me explain. This is a brand new 2021 Cadillac Escalade. Obviously, you've recognized it. And I say I've done everything wrong because I went about reviewing GM's all-new trio of full-size SUVs, well, the right way in a sense, but the wrong way in another. Let me explain. Okay, first of all, I've been a tremendous fan of GM's full-size trucks since forever. In fact, I can't think of anyone that likes cars or is a general enthusiast that does not have a soft spot for the old Blazers and into the Yukons and the Tahoes and the Suburbans and the Slades and all that. There's just something so appealing about these trucks. And about the Escalade, when it was introduced in 1998 for the 1999 model year, somehow that truck it was the coolest damn SUV in the world. And all it really was a Yukon with a different grille, because it had the exact same wheels, but it's still somehow Cadillac. It just fits so well. The second generation was a nice evolution of that. It was cool, and then it got more interesting. And somehow the Escalade stood out. Every time I drove one, it's just something so appealing about driving this massive Cadillac SUV. But when I say I've done things wrong or backwards this time, is that, well, in the last 10 months, 12 months maybe even, oh my goodness, we are in September. Well, I drove the Tahoe first, then the Yukon, and now the Escalade. And to be quite frank, despite the fact that for the first time, the Escalade has its own dashboard, its own IP, if you will, where the driver is facing and the front passenger are facing something completely new and unique to the Cadillac, it feels to me like it's the least special Escalade ever. Because the Tahoe is so damn good. The Yukon is excellent. And well, the Escalade is excellent, but they want a lot more money for it. This is a weird situation I find myself in because, look, don't get me wrong, I am absolutely loving every moment with this truck. But I'm not getting that special feeling that I usually expect and associate with an Escalade. And there's something about this particular Escalade that would normally be a tremendous is, I'm using it a lot, a big asset to this truck. And somehow it doesn't fit. It's not helping the 21 Escalade's case. Enough of that, but there's more coming, obviously, because we're gonna do the walk around of this 21 Escalade, and then we'll take it for a spin, and I'll point out, well, a few things that kind of take it down a notch for me compared to the Tahoe and the Yukon. Now, aesthetically speaking, the Cadillac Escalade is still a really attractive SUV, but it's very underwhelming at the same time. I mean, there's nothing snazzy about it. I mean, I have to admit, this is a Sport Platinum, which explains all the dark trim and the absence of chrome. But still, all this dark trim with the crystal white paint job, I mean, it should pop. It should be a little bit more in your face. I mean, there are a number of optional wheels, but these are not them. And they seem too normal. Everything about it physically seems too normal. And it gets worse when you park it alongside the Tahoe or the Yukon. And, well, it doesn't get any better when you park it alongside, say, a Mercedes-Benz GLS or a BMW X7 especially, and even the brand new Grand Wagoneer. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. I mean, maybe, say, I don't know, a premium luxury Platinum with a lot of chrome would make it pop a little bit more. Anyway, all that said, it's still an attractive, high-end looking SUV. Now, as far as pricing is concerned, in the US, $76,195 to start, $105,240 for your premium luxury platinum or sport platinum models. Sport and luxury, they have the exact same price, which is a very cool thing on behalf of Cadillac, I have to say. Oh, and by the way, these are for non-ESV. That's right, this is the short Cadillac Escalade. In Canada, slightly different story, $90,348. One of the differences is that in the US, you can get it with two-wheel drive. That is a rear-wheel drive Escalade. In Canada, all-wheel drive is standard. At the other end of the spectrum, $118,348. Now, I think I got this pricing right. If you get the 6.2, it's one price. If you get the Duramax diesel, turbo diesel, straight six, it's $50 less. And the prices I gave you are the diesel prices. So $50 more if you want the 6.2. I think I got that right. So there are trims, like I said, a luxury, premium luxury, platinum, sport platinum. This is a sport platinum. So you know the pricing starts at $18,348. The standard features are tremendous. There we go again, AKG 19-inch, 19 speaker audio system, 38-inch IP, full digital display on the inside. I'll show that to you in a few seconds. 22-inch wheels, 12-way power, seats that are heated in the front. I mean, look, you get wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. There's a whole bunch of stuff included. When you step up to the Sport Platinum, you get 16-way massaging front seats, semi-aniline leather, and the big differences are adaptive air ride, magnetic ride control, power running boards, and a few other things. Yeah, those are all elements that you kind of really want in your Escalade. My tester has a few options: Super Cruise, yes, and night vision, and the paint job, for a grand total of $126,000. Now think about that for a second. This is kind of where I hitch or get caught up in details. Is an X7 M50 starts at about $128,000, and it is seriously in your face. Might have a notch or two fewer options or features than this, but it has a twin turbocharged 523 horsepower V8. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Grand Wagoneer, even the Series 3, is $121,000, and well, I think it has a lot more in common with its American counterpart than the Germans. Okay, so let's just do a quick. Oh, this is cool. Like that big button. All right, so third row is down, but if it was up, you're looking at about 722 liters of trunk space. Up to the second row, it's 2,064 liters. This is one of the big changes for the new generation, the fifth generation of the Escalade, by the way, is that the seats now in the third row fold into the floor as opposed to sit on top. So that's why you gain a massive amount more trunk space. I suppose that's enough. I am power operated rows, which is something you would expect in a vehicle this price. Hatch speed is very decent, as you can see. Okay, I did go into the back row, and it's very accessible, and visibility is actually not too bad. I mean, as long as you sit a little bit further back, you do have a fair amount of glass, but then the C-pillar here is massive. What's great about full-size SUV is that you can easily fit an adult between the two baby seats, as I will do this weekend when we go apple picking. Rear entertainment system is included in this business. Amount of space, seats are adjustable fore and aft, and they recline. There's a lot of room back here. This is essentially a limo. Will it take too long? Please don't. Come on. Yes. Power running board, something you have to have in these vehicles. And here is where the Escalade separates itself really from its Tahoe and Yukon non-identical twins, or triplets, I should say. But look, materials, fit, finish, attention to detail. Everything is very GM with a dash of Cadillac, if you know what I mean. This is a good shot of the screen. So you got a 7-inch screen here, a 14-inch screen here, and a nearly 17-inch screen there. So this is your massaging button right there, just in case you need to know. And this is how you adjust where you want your seat to be massaged. Oh, the semi-aniline leather, I'm in the shot. Love the quilting, it's gorgeous. Absolute attention to detail in the audio system and the headrests. All nice things. Okay, there's a lot going on in this truck. Well, let's just start with the screens, okay? So this is really neat because this is, I think, 7.2 inches. This is like the driver's personal information display. So you have your various drive setting. Come on. Trip 1, trip 2, the same. Oh, look at that. I didn't reset it. So you can choose what else you want to have show up in a heads-up display, which you probably can't see because, oh no, there it is. You can adjust it right there. I like this. This is interesting as well, and it's also configurable, but because of my driving position, I can only see the lower part of it. But it doesn't really matter because all the information shows up in a heads-up display. Now this is your pièce de résistance. I think it's 16.9, so it's a grand total of 38 inches across. It looks spectacular at first, but then it just becomes really normal. I do have to give points to Cadillac for doing something a little bit original as opposed to just some rectangular or square, either portrait or whatever. Just the layout is different and it's kind of cool. There's a ton of menus and the system works really, really well. I can't complain anywhere. I can't complain at all about that. The controls down here too are very, very cool. I mean, you have to aim properly, say at night, because this is lit up, but this isn't. So, I mean, you figure it out as you go about your business, working your HVAC controls. Things kind of dull out when you come down here. I mean, these are typical GM buttons. It's a little unfortunate. It lacks substance. It lacks Cadillacness. Storage is very decent here and there. Big bin. This actually has a fridge, I think I just saw first time I opened it up. Visibility is decent. Once you come around to this side, you do have a little bit of a gap there, so that 90-degree turn to the left, you won't hit all the cement medians. There's your cruise control buttons for the Super Cruise. It works actually quite well. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few moments. And that's about it. Oh, well, maybe not. Air suspension. These are your settings for the height. These are your drive modes. You can see them right there. Funny thing, again, because of my driving position, I can't see the button. The steering wheel and the spoke completely hides it, so I have to lean forward in order to see, or scooch around to see the buttons, but I suppose you don't use them that often. All right, I think that's it. So we have auto, two-wheel drive, 4 high. That's it. Okay, so let's drive. Okay, well, I'm not sure if you caught that, but I kind of hinted at what makes this Cadillac Escalade, well, a thing that would have in the past been I'm going to say it again, a tremendous asset, is actually, well, it just doesn't fit. And the weirdest part is that if I was test driving a Yukon or a Tahoe equipped with it. Okay, look, it's the Duramax straight 6 3-liter turbo diesel engine in this truck. That somehow it doesn't work. It's not part of the fabric or the makeup of a proper Cadillac Escalade. It's not the noise, it's not the power, it's just the mild vibration and harshness produced by a diesel engine that doesn't work with the Escalade. And I swear, like I just said, I mean, if it was in a Tahoe, I would love it. But it's in an Escalade and I'm torn. This is not what I want to experience. I want a 6.2-liter V8. It's $50 more. It has as much torque, 460 pound-feet of torque in this thing. It comes on at like 1500 RPM, 277 horsepower at 3750 RPM versus 420 with the 6.2. Yeah, okay, you spotted that right now I'm averaging about 11.9, and the thing is that about 80% of my driving has been done in the city. So this is phenomenal because with the 6.2, my average would probably be 4 or 5 liters per 100 kilometers more than this. So there's that upside to the straight 6 turbo diesel Duramax. As far as towing is concerned, because that would probably be one reason why you would get the Duramax, Well, the funny thing is that with the Duramax, you can tow 7,800 pounds. With the 6.2, you can tow 8,000 pounds. So there isn't an advantage. In fact, 200 pounds. That doesn't measure on any real scale per se. Well, look, the power, obviously, 1,500 RPM comes on really, really fast, and it pushes this 6,000 pound SUV with absolute ease, but I can't wrap my brain around a Duramax diesel in an Escalade. Just now, because I have to mention it, because it just happened. One thing, and I can tie in Super Cruise right now, is that the whole battery of active safety features in this SUV are hyperactive. Right there, I'm doing 30 kilometers an hour and I'm going through a mild bend in the road. There's a car parked and the collision warning system goes on, the seats start vibrating, and it happens all the time. And I'm just on a regular 2-lane city street. And the thing with the Super Cruise, as much as I got to experience, is that it becomes hyperactive and even scared when traffic is semi-dense but still moving. If there's a cement median that is only, say, a little less than a meter away, Super Cruise shuts off. It won't have me allow it, or it won't allow itself to drive itself. So the limitations are very real. On the open road, which I'll experience more this weekend, I'm sure it'll work fine. But I'm not so sure about the super part of the Super Cruise. Let's just say that I'm not convinced, but I'm not saying it's not living up to expectations. What isn't living up to expectations is adaptive air ride and the magnetic ride control dampers. Historically, in most vehicles that I've driven, they just confer an incredibly good ride to most vehicles from GM. But in the Escalade, where I want a little bit more poshness, a little bit more, and mind you, I'm in touring. I'm going to triple check. I'm in touring drive mode. Okay, the ride quality is not as plush and not as smooth as I need it to be. 22-inch wheels may have something to do with that, but at these low speeds, I can still feel absolutely everything. The front end bounces and moves about. It's not catastrophic, obviously, but it's far, far more than what I want an Escalade to do and manage. The Grand Wagoneer is like driving on a cloud by comparison, and there are no complications or compromises done to handling. Yes, the Escalade will handle as well as any 6,000 pound SUV can. Well, that's not entirely true, because the GLS is a very good handler, and the X7, which, well, I think it's the pinnacle as far as handling and driving in the segment. The Grand Wagoneer went from nowhere to like number 2 just overnight. But that's it. It's not as refined as I need it to be. The 22-inch wheels are definitely playing their part in ruining refinement overall. That's probably why I enjoyed the Tahoe so much with the 18-inch wheels and the off-road tires, because the driving was so wonderful. Anyhow, that's the Escalade. It's not as special as I desperately wanted it to be, because I love the Yukon and the Tahoe so much. In my books, I'd save about $40,000 and just get a nice Tahoe, say a Premier, with a few options for $85,000. Or if you want to spend 130 grand, get an X7. You're only going to lease it for 3 or 4 years anyway, so you might as well enjoy driving it while you're at it.